So it looks like the WBC has ordered Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford pending approval by the WBO. Huge news in the sport of boxing. You know, it's been said that Terence Crawford's last fight under top rank is tonight, the Sean Porter fight. Where Terence Crawford goes from there remains to be seen, if he's going to be independent or if he's going to, MTK Global or, PBC. I don't know. But, a lot of people don't understand, like, when you go independent, sometimes you got to have an engine behind you, man. Terence Crawford does have a fan base, but, sometimes, man, it's good to just line up with another promotion company. It depends. Depends on if your marketability, man, to be honest, but we'll see where Terence Crawford goes from here. But so if the WBC ordered this fight, and tonight, if Terence Crawford beats Sean Porter and Errol Spence is supposed to show up at this fight, I fully expect them to really step to each other. Either Errol steps to Bud gonna step to Errol. They're gonna let Errol in the ring. It'll probably look something like how when Errol and Bud had met up that day and they had those little words when Bob Arum was there. Errol had on the red hoodie and all that stuff, and Errol was like, I promise you I'm gonna crush you, shit like that. And Bud is like, nigga, I'm the boogeyman chasing the how you the boogeyman when I'm chasing the boogeyman, shit like that. You're gonna see something like that. It'll be epic and historical to see, because the welterweight division is on fire, man. And it's not just because the up and comers, man. To be honest, these older fighters like Errol and Bud, they keeping shit spicy, man. I'm gonna keep it all the way real. So I'm waiting to see this fight, and then the up and comers are adding some spice to it as well. But right now the upper echelon, the champions are the ones holding all the weight right now. So I wanted somebody to grab that WBA, man. I wanted somebody to get that WBA, so the Errol and the Terence fight would be undisputed. So just because WBC ordered this fight, that doesn't mean that's next. I would rather somebody fight Ugas first, and then the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight. They go into that fight next. So I don't care which one of them it is, whether it's Bud or Errol. Somebody needs to fight Ugas for that WBA. I believe Ugas is a wonderful fighter, but I think Errol Spence and Terence Crawford both beats him. Either one of them is going to beat him. So one of them will end up with the WBA strap, and then we can go into an undisputed matchup. That likely will be the case, but I think the likely opponent for Ugas, after Ugas gets his Stanionis. But what's crazy? They're saying, I think Stanionis is Ugas' mandatory. Ugas is a champion. Whatever happened to championship and undisputed and unifications trump mandatories? Whatever happened to that? So if that's the case, how come Ugas can't fight Errol Spence? Could Ugas fight Bud after Sean? It's crazy. It's a crazy situation, but we are a step closer to seeing that Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight. I told you guys early on this year that I thought that fight was going to happen mid 2022 or the end of 2022. I think. Watch my my wall, because I'm gonna repost. I'm gonna reshare that video where I was talking about when I think that fight is gonna happen. But this is great news. Even though I don't like Mauricio Suleiman, he's a little weird, man. Like, he's willing to make unifications with all these other fighters, but, Canelo can just do whatever he wants because he already came out and said it. So, but, that's that golden goose, man. But anyway, shout out to the WBC anyway. Hopefully WBO could, will definitely agree to this, and then we'll see that fight coming up sometime real soon, maybe the mid 2022 summertime, around that. I would say they don't want to have it too close to a Canelo fight. You know how that shit is when it comes to Canelo. They'll probably line that fight up for the end of the year, man. Probably you might see Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford sometime, maybe around this time next year, maybe October or November 2022. Being that they're gonna want it to be as big as possible, so they're more than likely gonna have to get either Errol or Bud gonna have to get that WBA belt so they can go into an undisputed to make the fight even bigger. So look for either Bud or Errol to probably fight Yordenis Ugas. Assuming that Ugas beats Stanionis. Now, if Stanionis somehow beats Yordenis Ugas and becomes WBA champ, that's going to be even easier work for Errol Spence or Terence Crawford, because I think Yordenis Ugas is a more difficult fight than a Stanionis is. So that'll be an icing sweet cake, sweet piece of pie for Errol and Bud if Stanionis got the belt and they just got in there and just picked Stanionis apart. I think that's what's going to happen anyway if Ugas doesn't beat him. But Ugas probably could beat him, but we'll see. That's what it's all about, man. It doesn't really matter at this point who wins that, because nobody cares. And I really don't. I don't care who wins Ugas or Stanionis. The winner of that got to get Bud or Errol so that belt can get in one of them dudes' hands and we can carry that to the fight. That's just how I see it. Let me know what you think about the WBC ordering Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. This is Rebel Life Boxing. Catch y'all later on the next one. And I'm out. Peace.